It is now in order to consider Amendment Number 5, printed in House Report 112-244. For what purpose does the gentleman from Illinois seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, I have an amendment at the desk.
The clerk will designate the amendment.
Amendment number 5, printed in House Report number 112-244, offered by Mr. Rush of Illinois.
Pursuant to House Resolution 431, the gentleman from Illinois, Mr. Rush, and a member opposed, each will control 5 minutes. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Illinois.
Madam Speaker, my amendment simply provides federal enforcement authority so that if the EPA administrator determines that a structure is in violation of a state coal combustion residuals permit program and the state has not taken appropriate action to enforce such permit with respect to such structure, the administrator may inspect such structure and enforce the requirement of such permit program. Madam Speaker, as currently drafted, H.R. 2273 fails to require states to enforce their own permit requirements. The manager's amendment only requires states to describe their process to enforce, but there is no hint, no requirement, not a syllable to actually enforce regulations. This built-in loophole in H.R. 2273 does not require adequate state inspection of coal ash ponds, landfills, and it allows states to set up voluntary regulatory programs which will clearly not ensure the safe design, the safe operation, and the cleanup of the nation's many toxic coal ash disposal sites. Madam Speaker, due to a well-noted case in my district of Crestwood, Illinois, where contaminated drinking water was piped into the homes of my constituents for over 20 years, between 1986 and 2007, without any intervention from either the state or federal EPA agencies, I am very sensitive to this issue. Since the beginning of this current Congress, the Republican majority has been on a never-ending, non-stop, forever and ever crusade against the EPA and our nation's environmental protection laws on behalf of a few industries and to the detriment of the public good. However, for many of my constituents, there is no greater role for Congress to play than to protect their lives, their livelihoods, the livelihoods of their children, the lives of their children, by ensuring that all American citizens have access to clean air and clean water. Madam Speaker, I believe that it is a false choice to try to frame these tremendously important policy decisions under the paradigm of either clean air and water or jobs and employment. As leaders, it is our job, it is our responsibility to find the right balance when crafting legislation so that our constituents are not faced with these types of lose-lose situations and decisions. And I believe that my amendment will go a long way in trying to make this legislation far more balanced so that at the very least we'll allow the federal government, our government, to serve as the last backstop for the American people against companies that will seek to skirt the law without regard for our families and the community live in and the communities that these companies will do harm to. Madam Speaker, many of my constituents, they don't have the money, they don't have the influence that industry have, so they're counting on us, this Congress, their congressional representatives, to protect their interests, to fight for them, just as those who are fighting for the interests of a few corporations in this body are doing. In fact, Madam Speaker, I want to end with a quote from a letter dated July 11th that my office received from a number of ordinary American families who live by coal ash dumps all across this country.
Fired. The letter will go under.
Madam Speaker, I urge all of my colleagues to support this amendment.